Amy, 800-489-0201.
It's time for the Playmaker Spotlight with Executive Coach and Vistage Chair, Dick Smith.
Well, welcome to the Playmaker Spotlight, the part of Get Down to Business where we speak to CEOs and business owners and share their stories and their best practices with you. Playmakers is brought to you in part by Vistage, the world's largest CEO advisory board organization, and I am your host, Dick Smith, the CEO business coach, and I'm an award-winning chair for Vistage International. And I'm very pleased to have as our guest tonight Dan Defino, who's a vice president, family member, and managing director of 2Ks LLC, headquartered in Franklin Park, Illinois. And we're going to get Dan's story from their website. They were founded in '63. 2Ks is a family-owned and operated marketing services production company with 4 divisions currently, including advertising and creative, software development, print production, inventory and fulfillment, delivered to any destination in the world. And in July of this year, 2Ks was proud to officially announce the opening of their in-house boutique creative division, Agency. And we'll talk about that special spelling. Having Agency as a division of 2Ks allows its creative and account staff the added advantage of working directly with the production group responsible for the output of the project and dramatically improves the speed to market. So, Dan Defino, Vice President, Managing Director of 2Ks, welcome to Playmakers.
Well, thank you very much, Dick. Great to be here.
Hey, let's get into the story right away. CNN version, if you will, of how did the firm get started again, and explain the story about the 2Ks name and that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a question we get a lot. The company was started in 1963. There was a gentleman by the name of Kirchner. He was an elderly gentleman. He wanted to start a business together with his son. After much coaxing, his son finally went into business with him. So it was Kirchner and Kirchner, and they called it 2Ks, as Kirchner started with a K. 6 months into the business, the elder gentleman passed away. The son really didn't want anything to do with it, so he sold the business. My father purchased it and heard the story and decided to honor the old man. He was going to keep the name and hope that it would bring him luck.
Very cool. And it's spelled Tukaiz.
Correct.
2K is interesting. And it started as a printing business, is it?
Yeah, we started as a company really doing work for printers, shooting plates that would go to printers for them to put on their presses.
Sure. And today you've grown to how many employees and how many offices? What geographic area do you cover in terms of service?
Yeah, right now we are located in multiple buildings in a Franklin Park campus. Mm-hmm. We have about 8 buildings. We are over 250,000 square feet with a couple hundred employees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But all pretty much in Franklin Park.
All in Franklin Park at one campus, and it's great because we're about 5 minutes from O'Hare, so it helps us really get to anywhere.
Terrific. Well, under the topic of complete disclosures, I've used 2Ks for the last few years in a kind of a small project, but it's very impactful for me. It's a year-end gift that we send out to my members and my colleagues, and it's a personalized and customized calendar that I can tell you is very unique. I wish we were on TV. You could see it. It's my wife's favorite gift because it puts their name on the 12 months with wonderful pictures of the greater Chicagoland area from O'Hare to the downtown area. In fact, this month in August, there's a picture of a plane, and trailing in the plane smoke is my wife's name and or our customer name. They're all individualized. Individualized dates put on the particular month. In April, there's a picture of Wrigley Field with her name up on the sign. Ellen Smith and so forth. And my members and customers just love this piece. And it's very affordable, very customized and a great-looking piece and affordable. Good for you.
Yeah, very much so. It's something we started maybe about 10 years ago. We call it picture personalization. And as you say, you get the person's name in the picture. We do a lot of it business to business, but we also do it business to consumer at 2ksproducts.com.
Okay, so 2ksproducts.com. And this is about time to start thinking about those year-end holiday remembrances. And by the way, folks, send it out in around Thanksgiving. So get your order in now because it beats all the noise around the holidays, right?
We start getting very busy right around now.
Yeah, now's the time to get that order in.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Where did I leave off? So your background, how and when did you become managing partner? I know your dad's still involved, you said.
Yep, my father is still very much involved, comes in every day. I have a couple brothers that I am partner with, and my sister and her husband, who is our CFO. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing it ever since I got out of college in 1989. And we've really had some tremendous growth over the past dozen years especially.
Is the third generation coming on now?
We have a lot of, my children are there, nieces, nephews.
Interns.
Yep, we have a lot of cousins. It definitely is a true family business.
Good for you. We love family business here.
Absolutely.
So, hey, if you're just tuning in, this is the Get Down to Business Playmaker Spotlight, brought to you in part by Vistage International, the world's largest CEO and business owner private advisory board organization. And we're talking to Dan Defino, the managing director of 2Ks. So I mentioned in the intro your new agency, Agenz, pronounced Agenz, as your in-house creative agency. So tell us a little bit more about that. What's that all about?
Yeah, absolutely. Agenz, a little play on words with two Ks. Mm-hmm. My chief creative officer, Jim Eby, came up with that name for our creative space. He's a gentleman we brought in from a large agency about a year and a half ago. We have grown over the years in producing creative for many of our clients. With the whole back end that we do, our clients like working with us and said, boy, I wish you did some of these creative things on the front end. So we started with one creative designer, brought in a second designer, started growing a little bit in that area, and then really picked up a client that wanted us to do a lot of creative for them. It helped us leapfrog into bringing in a lot more folks and a lot more talent, finally to kind of expanding and branding that area as agency, bringing in Jim as our chief creative officer. And now we are doing work for a lot of big names that we do some of the work all the way through on the back end for print and distribution, but a lot of companies that we also just do a lot of strategy, branding, and creative for.
Good for you. So it's end-to-end from beginning to end.
Really end-to-end. And what we see is a new process kind of going out there in the marketing world. Agencies are, some of the bigger agencies are a little bit in flux and trying to do the things they're doing for clients. And clients nowadays really want to own the whole process. So they like to come to a company like 2Ks and have that direct relationship with us. And if we could offer more segments, more services to them, they see it as, really cutting down on some of the different companies they have to go to and keeping everything in one basket. And it's very efficient and economical.
Gotcha. So Dan, tell us, what does your ideal customer profile look like?
Well, our most ideal customer would be somebody that really wants to use all those segments in our business. So we'll do, certain a la carte items, I call, for many of our different customers. But the real win is when we could take a customer and work with them from end to end, have them come in, do some creative for them, some branding, give them ideas, and kind of build out that whole marketing plan for them, and then execute that marketing plan because we have the ability, with everything we have in-house, to really execute from beginning to end.
Do you do, for example, media programs, what do you call it, mobile marketing kind of program?
We get into everything, and then as you get into some of those things that need some development, that carries over into our development end, which we have branded TKML, which we have about 30 folks in that division that are doing software development. We have business analysts, and again, they're working with the creative folks. The technology end works with the print end, so everything kind of happens under one roof, and it's actually very magical.
So it sounds to me like you feel confident that a lot of customers would like to run or control that whole process and deal with one source from end to end. Is that where things are going in your industry?
That's where things are going because, a lot of clients out there, it's becoming very apparent to everybody that you have to lead with technology. So if we have that technology in-house and we could wrap creative around that technology and give the output, whether it's digital, conventional, and fulfillment and distribution beyond that technology, it makes it easy for them not to go try to find the different pieces to the puzzle and put them together, but go to the one place that they could get it all done in one kind of, flawless effort to get their marketing needs out.
Gotcha. So give us a little about your vision as the leader, managing director, 3 to 5 years from now. Where's 2Ks?
That's a question that people oppose a lot of times. And 3 to 5 years ago, I don't know that I knew we would be in this spot. So, I think you kind of have to find and kind of watch where the world is going. You definitely have to listen to your clients, but you definitely have to be a step ahead of them. So when you see a lot of things they're doing, we have some ideas and taking that digital space and making that more customizable, where we're customizing a lot of print right now for our clients and getting it out on demand as they need it. We think a lot of digital things are going to be needed, i.e. digital menu boards that go into fast service restaurants and things like that.
Gotcha.
How could we make that more segmented, more targeted for them and get it out where they need it?
Gotcha. Well, boy, I'm afraid we're just about out of time. How quickly that time flies, as I told you, Dan. But I want to thank Dan Defino, the managing director of 2Ks, for being with us today. I assume it's 2Ks, TUKAIZ.com is
Correct.
where they get the most information from you.
Yep.
Well, thanks again, Dan, for joining us. This has been the Playmaker Spotlight with your host, Dick Smith, the CEO, business coach, and award-winning chair for Vistage International. And you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at dick.smith@vistagechair.com. Now, stay tuned for more of Get Down to Business with my friend Shalom Klein.
It's Labor Day.